sit comfortably. And if you're sitting up in a chair, make sure your feet are hips distance apart and parallel if you can get evened out there. And on the floor, feel free to grab blankets. Sit up on a blanket or two, sit cross-legged, or stretch your legs out if you need to, right? And it is, I'm sorry I didn't say, Monday the 24th of May. So we're here for gentle. So be mindful as you start to lengthen up through the top of your head. Let your eyes gently close. And just be aware of feeling your breath now, coming in and going out through your nose. See if you can feel the breath coming into your belly. Feeling your belly expand a little bit as you breathe in. Without forcing your breath, if you want to come into those three-part breaths, you can inhale into your belly, into your ribs, all the way up into your chest. And then let your breath help you move a little bit. Let your exhalations bring you forward a little with a nice long back. And when you inhale, come back up to sitting upright. So it might be a tiny little bit that you move. It might feel good for you to move a little bit farther forward. Don't push it. Just really enjoy letting the breath move the body back and forth. Think about keeping the back of your head in line with your spine so you don't feel tension in your neck. And the next time that you come back up to sitting, let yourself stay there. And let's release our arms on out beside us here now. And we'll inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And then we'll reverse and inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms on back out and down. And now let's inhale our arms straight out from our shoulders. Flex your hands and bend your elbows quite a bit, really. Draw your hands in towards your shoulders. And then as you press out into the heels and the hands, feel the fingertips facing up. And then again, inhale as the hands come in. And exhaling as you press out. And then one more time, inhaling as the hands come in. And exhaling as you press on out into the heels of the hands. And then release your arms on down. And let's bring our arms forward this time. And let your palms turn away from each other for a second for your thumbs to face down and your pinky fingers up. And then come on back again to palms facing each other. And we're going to bend our elbows to about 90 degrees. And then we'll open our arms on out beside us. So it's kind of like your goddess arms, right? Your elbows are bent to 90 degrees. Spread your fingers really wide. And then bring your left arm on top of your right and give yourself a hug here, either low down towards your armpits with your hands or up over your shoulders. And then bring your chin down towards your chest. And let your head move around a little bit. You might want to roll ear towards your shoulder. You might want to just turn your chin a little side to side. You know, that depends on how your neck feels. And of course your upper back there. That space between your shoulder blades and your spine, those are prime targets for tension there, those spaces there. And then finish off. You can let your gaze come forward. You can head towards the eagle or half eagle wrap if you choose to. It's not necessary. Be where you can. Let the shoulders open up there. Find that release between your shoulder blades on your back. And now as we unwind, let's come back into like those goddess arms where your elbows are bent. Spread your fingers really wide again. And now we'll bring the right arm on top of the left. Again, as you kind of find your way into hugging, get comfortable. And then again, move your head around a little bit if you can. It's not necessary to move the head unless it feels good, right? Just be mindful of feeling as much release as you can find. Your neck, your upper back. And if you find a place where you kind of just need to feel like you're hanging out there, feeling the weight of your head, to find more release, by all means do. It is Monday after all. Finish back with your head into center. Rise the chin on back up. Again, you don't have to come any more in towards a wrap unless you want to. You can come into your half eagle wrap or come into your full wrap. One more breath into between the shoulder blades on your back. And then we'll unwind, come back to those goddess-like arms. And then from there, stretch into a wide V. Your palms are forward. Really reach up through your fingertips here now. And then we'll lower the arms on down beside us. Take a nice inhale here. And on the exhale, let's twist to our left. Bring yourself around into an easy twist. Let it feel really good. Feel the feet in the floor, whatever part of your feet are touching. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we'll come on back around through center and off into the other direction. So again, just lengthening up. Feel that sense of your chin parallel to the floor. Good. One more inhale. And let your exhale bring you back on around into center. Shake out a little bit. If you are cross-legged on the floor, switch to cross your legs. Bring your other leg in front, right, so that you're evening your hips out a little bit there. And then from there, sitting up nice and tall, let's inhale the arms back up into that wide V. This time, though, turn your palms towards each other. And then even let your pinkies come inward a little bit. So you feel like the shoulders really drop down away from your ears. Now, it's up to you. If you can, look up a little bit, too. Not if it's uncomfortable for your neck. And then bring your gaze back forward. Lower your right arm down, and we're going to come over into a side stretch. Breathing into that left side. Letting yourself feel that sense of still reaching out through your fingertips. We're going to rise back up. We're going to switch arms and switch sides. So let yourself come on into the other side. Again, feeling that reach up through your fingertips. And we'll come on back up to the top. We're going to bring both arms back into that wide V, pinkies turned towards each other. Again, if you want to look up a little bit, do. And then as you exhale, bring your gaze back forward, bring your arms on down, and see if you can, and if you're in a chair, you'll need to probably come forward. Clasp your hands behind you back here. And then start to move a little bit like we did at the very beginning of class, where you exhale your way a little forward and inhale your way back up. And imagine really that you're keeping your back so long, and it is almost like you're leading a little bit with your chest. So that rocking motion, see if you can let the breath just help you very easily. Exhale your way forward and inhale your way back up. And then finish the one you're on, so you're right back up to sitting. Release your arms on down. And we're going to start to let ourselves move our navel a little bit into little circles. So this warms up the spine, the low back here. It warms up your hips a little bit. Inhale when the belly button comes forward. Exhale as you come around and back. And inhale again when it comes forward. So it's really your tailbone curls forward there when you're drawing your navel towards your spine at center. So you can feel that curve of the low back there. And then we're going to reverse the circle, the direction of the circle. So just come on around in the other direction. finish off, come on back to sitting up nice and tall there. Kind of shift a little side to side so you feel your sitting bones really equalizing out. Come on back into center, sit up nice and tall. And we're going to come on around towards our hands and knees from here. So you know if you do not want to be on your knees, do not be. Use your hands up if you want on your chair. You know, of course, you can, instead of being on your hands, you can be on your forearms, whether it's on the blocks or a chair or the floor, or you can be on fists, right? So that you just want to be really mindful. Take your time. Get yourself set there with your feet or your knees underneath you, your hips and your hands under your shoulders. And then just start to ease through those cat-cow. So it's that same feeling of letting yourself, when you round up into that cat pose, the tailbone drops down. And when you inhale your way into your cow pose and the belly sinks, you find that bit of a curve the other way in your low back. But, you know, everybody's different. If anything feels uncomfortable with these, let them be smaller. You know, move from neutral spine instead of coming into either your cat or your cow. So feel that initiation of the tailbone being the start of everything, and then just enjoy feeling that bit of easy flow through your spine. It's such a snake-like feeling, really. Finish off the one you're on, and we'll come on back to a more neutral spine. And from here, let's come into a lunge. Left foot forward, right foot back. So coming in now to getting into our legs, our hips a little more. Feel the feet, remember, like they're on very narrow railroad tracks. And then enjoy. Zip up your low belly a little bit. So you don't want to feel your tailbone tucking down. Right? Your tailbone's still reaching back, but you're engaging your low belly at the same time. And then we're going to switch to the other side. So it does not matter how you switch, or stepping forward or back. Again, get that alignment going. Make sure that front knee is bent no farther forward than your ankle. And then think about bringing your whole back body into this nice long diagonal line if you can. Good. We're going to switch again. So this time, once you do find your lunge, if you like lifting up a little bit, you know, it's not necessary. You can put your left hand there up on your thigh if you want. You can put your forearm if you're down lower, right, in your lunge, if you're in a longer lunge. That's up to you. Not necessary to do that at all. We're going to switch legs again. So again, once you find that lunge and you're aligned with that front knee, remember, don't let it go out beyond your toes there. You can lift up that right hand to the knee or forearm to the thigh or hand to the thigh. And let it feel really good as you find that length. Good. We're going to bring our hands back down, step our feet forward, and come into standing forward bend. So feet hip distance apart and parallel. You know, feel good about your forward bend. Bend your knees if you need to. Be up higher. Put your elbows above your knees if you want. Use your chair if you want. And let yourself, if possible, allow your head to hang. Now, that sometimes puts too much pressure into people's backs to let their head hang. So don't do it. If it doesn't feel good, don't do it. Feel the breath coming into the ribs, feeling the ribs expand in all directions. Good. One more breath. And then we're going to bend our knees and press equally into our feet. We're going to rise on up to standing. And we'll inhale the arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. So let your arms come down. Take a peek at your feet and kind of walk a little bit in place. You don't need to lift the feet high or anything, but just feel your weight shifting a little bit from one foot to the other. And then make sure your feet are pretty parallel. Now, how far apart you have them, a fist or a fist and a half. Just think about these hip pointer bones being about centered at your feet, on your feet there. And then just go ahead and bring your gaze forward, bring your hands to your heart, and just feel that sense that you're pressing down into the floor with your feet, like you're pushing the floor away from you. And then as you imagine, you're just gently lifting your thighs upwards. You don't want to lock your knees ever in mountain pose. You just want to get this sense of the thighs lifting up towards the hips and space being created in your knees. Feeling your hips over your ankles, your shoulders over your hips. Enjoy feeling your hands together there in front of your chest. Good, and then we'll unfold our arms right on down beside us. And we'll inhale both arms all the way out and up overhead. And on the exhale, bend your knees, come on forward into your standing forward bend. Let your next inhale lengthen out your spine. Now your knees can be bent for this, your hands can be like up on your legs, your thighs, or your shins, or your blocks, or on your chair. And we'll step the right foot back from here and come into lunge. So let yourself enjoy, find that lunge again, and again, feel your tailbone reaching back on that diagonal line, but engage your low belly a little bit. And we'll come on into downward facing dog pose. And you know your down dog, totally up to you. Hands can be any height you want to be, on a chair, on blocks any height, on the floor. But reach back through your tailbone. Knees can be really bent in dog. Remember that if your hamstrings feel tight, bend your knees. Let yourself feel your elbows hugging towards each other. And let's make our way towards a plank. Does not matter if you go all the way into a plank pose. You can go onto forearms if your wrists bother you. Or if you're on the floor, you can put your knees down and do a half plank that way. But really just enjoy finding a little bit here, coming into the arms and the shoulders and the core strength here. And then we'll come on back into downward facing dog pose. So if you need to adjust your feet as you come from dog to plank and back again, adjust your feet, especially if your hands are up higher. Might really feel a lot better to do that. We're going to bring our right foot forward to find lunge. So if you need to put your left knee down to get there, do. Take your time, find that lunge again. Again, find that sense of reaching the tailbone on that diagonal line and feel the belly engaging. And then we'll step forward again into standing forward bend. Feet again, hips distance apart and parallel, and again, use whatever support you need. Elbows above the knees, or hands on blocks, or the chair, and then see if you can let your head just move a little bit, whether you just kind of turn it side to side, or maybe you like to kind of nod your head yes a little bit too. But just be mindful. Good, one more breath, full deep breath. And then we'll bring our hands on back up to our hips, bend our knees and rise on up, and inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Lift your elbows up for a second. Really feel your hands coming more together there. And see if you can just enjoy that movement of the wrists. And then release your elbows down, and let's inhale the hands right up through the midline. And on the exhale, open the arms like wings and come on into your standing forward bend. And on your next inhale, find that nice flat back. Again, whatever you like to, height you want to be with your hands, whatever you want to support yourself, however. And we're going to step our left foot back and come into lunge. So again, draw the shoulders down, feel that length, inhale, exhale into your downward facing dog. So again, as you come into down dog, be mindful. Let yourself, if you feel better to bend your knees or walk your dog a little bit, do. And on the next inhale, we'll come out towards a plank. And again, you do not have to do a full plank. You can make sure you take care of your wrists if you need to go to fists or if you need to go to your forearms. And if you like push-ups, you know, you can bend your elbows a little bit. Think of your elbows coming in towards your rib cage. If you are going to lower down, doing the yoga style push-ups, a little bit different. And then we'll make our way back again into downward facing dog pose. And this time we will bring our left foot forward to find our lunge. And again, however you need to get there. And then we'll come on back into standing forward bend. Right to your full deep breaths now. Once you get yourself set with your feet and you're supporting yourself the way you want, go right to those full, complete deep breaths, feeling the ribs expand. See if you can really let your inhales and exhales even out a little bit if you can, or extend your exhales out a little bit longer if you can do that. So like if you reach the count of 4 when you inhale, think about what if I reached 6 when I exhale? Good. One more breath here. And then we're going to bring our hands up to our hips and bend our knees and rise on up. We'll inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Let's unfold our arms on down beside us. Inhale your right arm all the way out and up. And then turn the palm up so that the fingertips face towards the midline of your body. And press up into the heel of the hand. So instead of the hand going fingertips away from you, turn it in. And then let yourself come over into side stretch as you press up into that right heel of your right hand there. The hand's still flexed. And just breathe into that side. Feel your right foot pressing down into the ground. Good. We're going to come on back up. We're going to lower that arm down and then make one big circle with that right arm. Bringing it forward and up and back behind you as much as your shoulder allows you to. We're going to reverse that circle. We're going to reach back first and then up and over the top and lower it back down. Good. And then we're going to inhale the left arm out and up overhead. And then again, turn the pink fingers in towards the midline. Press up into that heel of the hand and then come over into your side stretch. You know, if you need to bend your knees, try to think of bending them equally. And really feel that left foot pressing down into the floor and feel more in your side waist as you press into that heel of your hand there. Good. One more breath. And then come on back up. Lower that arm on down beside you. We're going to make that big arm circle. Inhaling the arm forward, up, over the top, as much back behind you if you can, as you can. And then again, we're going to reverse. Reach back first. And then up and over the top and letting ourselves come on down. And from here, shake your arms out just a little bit and then come into mountain pose, floating your arms a little away from you, but turning your palms forward. Feel the feet equal in the floor. And we'll inhale now both arms out and up overhead. You can go as high as you want. You can look up if you want. And on your exhale, bend your knees and come on forward into your standing forward bend again. Let your next inhale help you lengthen out your spine. And let's walk into a downward facing dog pose from here. So coming into your down dog, feel your elbows hugging towards each other. Again, you know you can bend your knees. You adjust however you need for your dog. And on your next inhale, come on out towards a plank. Now, back bends are optional. You can do a back bend. You can do push-ups if you'd rather. You don't have to do any of it. You can stay in your plank. And we'll come on back again into downward facing dog pose. So again, if you need to walk, do. If you like to move your head around a little bit or play in your dog, you know, you can wag your tail, do what feels good. And then we'll come on again out towards that plank. Again, it's totally optional whether you add a back bend in here or not, and whatever kind you want, Sphinx or Cobra or Up Dog. And then we'll come on back again into downward facing dog pose. And from here, we are going to bring our right foot forward to find lunge, however you need to. Now, see if you can press your feet gently away from each other like you're trying to lengthen your mat. And again, Find the tailbone reaching back on that diagonal line and then engage your belly. And then we'll step forward. And come on into standing forward bend. Into nice full deep breaths. Weight of your head. If you can move your head around, do. Good. One more full deep breath. And we'll bring our hands to our hips and rise straight on up to standing and inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, bring our hands down together in front of our hearts. So find your mountain pose. If you need to shift around a little bit, do. Feel your feet equal in the floor. Again, that alignment of the pelvis so that you feel the tailbone reaching down towards between your heels, maybe a little behind your heels. Nice. And then we'll release our arms on down beside us. And move around, shake out if you need to swing anything around you. Well, I'm going to turn my chair around for using it, but make sure you have your blocks handy towards the front of your mat here. And we're going to step our right foot back and come into Warrior Two. So that right foot becomes about parallel to the back edge of your mat. Heels pretty much in a line. Front knee definitely lined up with the center of our foot. Good. And then let your arms come out, but be low. Let your arms kind of reach down, almost like you're reaching towards the ends of your mat, really. The front and the back end of your mat there. And you're looking down, too. Let your neck release there. And then, on your next inhale, keep the arms floating up, 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 till when you look right out over the top of that left hand, it's perfect. You can easily bring your gaze on out. Feel your fingertips reaching away from the midline of the body here. Good, and let's turn our left palm up. And inhale, reach up towards the sky with that hand. Breathing into that left side. And on the exhale, we'll come into side angle. Whether you put your forearm or your hand onto your thigh or your chair. And of course, adding that top arm only if your shoulder lets you. Arm into line with the right side of the body. If you prefer, keep the hand on your hip. Good. One more breath here. And then we're going to come on back into Warrior Two. Let yourself come on back into reaching out through the fingertips. Feel energy all the way through your hands. Feel the feet gently pressing away from each other. And we'll bring our hands on down. We're going to turn our feet more parallel for a wide-legged forward bend. So you can adjust how wide your stance is. Bend your knees. Grab whatever you want for underneath your hands. So if you want to use your blocks, do. If you'd rather bring your hands to the floor, do. But be mindful. Let yourself, if it's okay to bend a knee at a time, do. If that doesn't work for you, don't do it. And then when you're ready to come back into center, take your time. Both knees can be bent or knees can be straighter. That is totally up to you. And whether you want to get out of your hands, stack your blocks up so that you get out of your wrist and put your forearms to blocks stacked up, or bring your hands down more towards between your feet. Just release. Let it feel really good. Let yourself enjoy. Feeling the ribs expand. Elbows above knees is another good way to be in this pose, where you support your low back. Good, easy, full, deep breaths. And really let go of your face. Feel soft all through your face. One more breath. And now to come up, be really mindful. You know that you can let your hands help you. You can bring your feet more together if you need to before you come up. And then walk around a little bit if you need. Move through your feet if you need to stretch your toes out a little bit, do. And we are going to come to the other side, so bringing your left foot back now for Warrior Two, getting those heels in line and Bending that front knee again, just being really mindful of lining up that knee. And then again, arms are low, and kind of think again that you're reaching your hands just a little bit forward of that front foot and a little bit back of your back foot, right? So it's easy. Look down towards the front foot there. Let your neck release. And then when you're ready to float the arms on up, let your gaze just go on up with that hand, and you can look right out over the top of the right hand. Feel the feet equal in the floor. Let your shoulders soften down. And remember that sense of the arms growing out of your back, being held up from underneath. And we'll lower the left arm down, turn the right palm up, and inhale. Reach up into that reverse warrior. Breathing into the right side. And on your exhale, coming into your side angle. So remember, it can be your right hand or forearm on your chair or your thigh. And you can add the top arm up into that side of the left side, long left side of the body, or you can keep your hand down on your hip. But remember, it's that sense of feeling very, very lengthened through both sides of the body here. Good. We're going to come on back to Warrior Two. Let yourself feel the arms reaching out again, all the way out through your fingertips. And as our hands come down, we're going to turn our feet again, more parallel. And again, you grab the support you want. You want your blocks, have them right there underneath your hands. Take your time and let yourself bend a knee at a time. Again, only if that's okay for your knees. And then come on back to center, whether your knees are bent or straight, and let your hands walk over to the right. Doesn't matter whether you use your blocks and stay in front of your foot or go towards your right foot. And then bring your right hand up to your right hip, and maybe even let your shoulder roll up a little bit if you like that little twist at the end. And then we'll bring our hand back down. We're going to shift back, walk back to the center, and go the other side. Again, it doesn't matter how far. Let yourself stay there for a second. Feel your right foot in the floor there, pressing gently away from the midline. And then bring your left hand up. And this totally optional if you want to roll your shoulder up, maybe even look up a little bit, bringing yourself into a bit of a twist there. And then we'll bring our hand back down. We're going to walk on back to center and set yourself up again. Get comfortable. I mean, really, like to where you really don't even have to think about anything at all. All you're going to do is watch your breath. There's nothing distracting in your body, right? So if that means you need to redo how far apart your feet are or where you have your hands or your forearms, do it. So you can just be with the breath and accept your breaths in and out. One more nice, full, deep breath. And then again, to rise up, be really mindful. Take your time. If you need to adjust your feet before you come up, do. If you're dizzy, really be mindful too. And then we'll walk around a little bit. So move around through your feet and your ankles. If you're using your chair, you might want to turn the seat around to face you, and then get your blocks. Have your blocks handy here. And let's come forward towards the front of our mats and step our right foot back and come into Warrior One. So we're now, for a second, put your hands on your hips. And then just draw yourself around to where you know your shoulders are square. So this right elbow is not back behind you. It is directly to your side. And you can look down and see your elbows there, right? And then bring your gaze on forward. And then release to bring your hands right to meet in front of your chest. And let's inhale the hands up through the midline. And on the exhale, let them come right back down to be in front of your chest. So you got to use your core to even do this. Inhaling the hands up in your Warrior One. And exhaling, letting them come back down. And then one more time. Inhaling the hands up. Once they get up there this time, keep your elbows bent. Clasp your hands, send your pointer finger up, and hug your elbows towards each other a little bit. Now, if you feel like you want to keep your elbows bent, do. If you feel like rising them up a little bit, you can, but you've really got to use your belly if you're going to do that. Or you can come into straighter arms with your elbows hugging in towards your head a little bit. Totally up to you and your shoulders. Let yourself feel the feet very equal in the floor. One more breath. And then let your hands come right back down through the midline. Come back to be in front of your chest, in front of your heart. And now lean forward just a little bit, but you're not bowing. You're actually just keeping a really long line through the back of your body. So it's not very far to go. And then we're going to bring our hands down and come into lunge. So you can decide if you want to use your chair, if you want to use your blocks. Your heels reaching directly behind your foot now. And we're going to twist, bringing our left hand up to our left hip and rolling that shoulder up, coming into your twist here. And you can stretch your left arm up if you choose to. You can keep your hand down. That is totally up to you. Good. One more breath. And now bring your left hand down. Come back to your lunge. We're going to step forward and get our feet right under us. But now adjust yourself to have your hands right under your shoulders, whether they're on blocks or the chair, and your feet under your hips. And then bend both your knees so you're very equal between your feet, and lift your right foot up off the floor this time. Now, that might be enough. You might not even have your left foot in the right place to support you. So if you need to put your right foot down and kind of adjust a little bit, and then lift the foot up again, do. And from here, optional to stretch that leg back to warrior three. So the toes face down towards the ground. You can keep your supporting knee a little bent if you need. You can come into both legs straighter. If you feel like you want a little more, you might want to lift your left hand up off the block or the chair to your chest or reach it forward. And this is the best thing about a chair. You can put your hand on the back of a chair in a warrior three so that you have a little support, but you can really work a lot in that. So one more breath. And then bring your hand and your foot back down. We're going to bend our knees. We're going to rise up to standing and inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. Take a breath here. Be mindful. Feel your feet in the floor. And now we're going to step our left foot back to find that warrior one again. So again, take your time. You know, when you come back into your warrior one, it might be that your feet are 2 feet apart or 3 feet or 4 feet. It's not important how far apart your feet are, but you do want to get that back foot into the place where you feel okay, all the way up in your knee and your hip here on that left side. Hips are square if you're pretty short stance, but you don't want to force that either. But shoulders are around square, right? And again, as we just gently bring our hands to our heart, that front knee is, remember, bent no farther forward than your ankle. If you need to check it out, you can bow your head and look at it. And then bring your gaze back forward and inhale the hands right up through the midline. On the exhale, bring them back down. Now, how high you go, that's up to you. You don't have to straighten your arms or anything. You can just inhale right above your head a little bit if you want. And then exhale, come back down. So again, inhaling the hands up, only as high as you want to go. And exhaling them back down. And now this time, we'll inhale the hands up. Once they get up a little above the head, clasp your hands, send your pointer finger up, hug your elbows inward. Now you can kind of lift your elbows up and look up a little bit if you choose to. You don't have to even think of straightening your arms. If it feels good, you can come into straighter arms. But even if you straighten your arms, elbows are gently hugging in towards each other, right? So you're having that sense of using those muscles that wrap around underneath your arms, right? Shoulders are not lifting up way up by your ears. Good. One more breath. Imagine you're inhaling up the front of your body and exhaling down the back of your body. And then we're going to lower our hands right back down in front of our chest, in front of our hearts. And remember that little bit of a leaning forward, but use your belly and you're staying really long in your back body. Really lengthen. One more breath. And now we're going to lower hands down. Remember, we're going to find a lunge at first. So let yourself come into the height you want to be, whether you want to be on your blocks or on your chair seat, and let your heel reach directly, left heel behind your foot. And then shift your weight to your left hand, bring your right hand to your right hip, and turn into that twist. So once you twist, you'll know whether you're dropping into that left side. You can really feel it when your hand's on your low back there. And of course, you can stretch the arm up if you choose to, or you can keep the hand just right there, trying to stay as level as you can in your hips. Good. And then we'll come on back down with that right hand. We're going to step forward and get our feet under us. And again, let yourself, you know what's coming up. We're coming into that warrior three. So get your hands right under your shoulders, on your chair or your blocks, feet maybe a little closer together, so that when you bend both your knees, you feel pretty good to lift your left foot up off the floor. And if it doesn't feel good, readjust if you need to. And then when you reach back into that warrior three, your toes are facing down. Again, you can stay a little bent in your supporting right knee. And you can decide if it feels good to let your right hand come up anywhere, maybe to your chest, or again, you can stretch the arm forward, the opposite arm and leg, right? That's going to make it a lot more doable. Or both hands if you want. Lift both hands up if you choose. Good. For one more breath here. And then let yourself release. Bring the foot on back down. And we're going to bend our knees, press into our feet, rise on up to standing. And we're going to inhale our arms all the way out and up. And on our exhale, let our hands come down together in front of our hearts. And then find your mountain pose. If you need to shift around a little bit, or, actually see if you can make little hip circles. Your knees are just a little bit bent, right? And your hips, it's not huge circles, they're just little, but your hips are going to shift forward, side, back, to the other side. And then you're just going to let them go the other way. It's like a little miniature hula hooping action, right? And then come on back into center. Feel those knees bend. Let your feet feel equal in the floor. And you can come into your mountain pose. You know that, whether you allow yourself to have your eyes open or closed. Just enjoy feeling balanced. Right to left and balanced front to back. Nice. And then go ahead and let your arms come on down and swing your arms a little bit, shake out, move around a little bit too. And we're going to bring our mats to a wall because we have room. So, you two can be there. Donna and Helen right over there, Susan there. And Celeste, you actually can come right up here. And yeah, there you go. Yeah, you can be right there where I usually am. Larry can be that way. And Celeste, you're not. I have a mask on. You're okay.
I'm maybe not vaccinated.
Right. We all are.
That's good.
So.
Can somebody talk to my son first? I got one resisting.
Oh gosh. I'll talk both might do the same thing. Face the wall. And for a second, come onto your forearms. And let yourself just really ease your way into a forearm plank. So your elbows are just forward of your shoulders. Clasp your hands and press into your forearms here. Let it feel good. Feel your sitting bones reaching down. And if you can, let your heels gently rise up when you inhale and come back down when you exhale. So inhaling, the heels rise up. Exhaling, they come back down. So good. Take your time. Let yourself just enjoy feeling that action. Good. And then finish off and see if you can bend your knees and maybe slide your forearms more down the wall, right? So you're still lengthened in the spine. Now, if you want, you can straighten your legs out a little bit and shift your hips back. And there's, you have a very different angle in your shoulders. I mean, some of you might even want to go all the way down to be parallel to the floor, right? Now, obviously, this is just not for everybody's shoulders, so don't do it if it feels bad in your shoulders. It's coming like towards a dolphin pose. So just be mindful, take your time, don't do anything where your shoulders are screaming at you. Good. So one more breath. And then let yourself walk on back into the wall. Let's turn our left shoulder towards the wall here now. And then just let your head tilt towards the wall and rest your left side of your head on the wall. Think about your hips staying square towards the wall you're looking at there, so you're not twisting your body into the wall, right? Your hips really are still square. And then just rise your right arm up. Come on into the fingertips touching the wall there, breathing into the right side of the body. Let it be easy. I mean, your right elbow can be bent, and you're just really letting the breath do the work for you. Good. One more breath. Good. And now, just roll to face the wall. Bring both arms up into a wide V for a second, and come onto your fingertips. So you've got your fingertips on the wall. Elbows are hugging in. Look down. Let yourself look down towards your toes. Let yourself just enjoy feeling your shoulders there. One more breath. And then bring your arms on down. We're going to turn right shoulder to the wall. And again, get really close to the wall so that when you tilt your head in, it touches the wall easy. You can just rest the right side of your head on the wall. Feels good for the neck. Adding that outside arm up and over into that side stretch with the fingertips touching. If you need to put the hand forward, do it. You know, if coming right up over your head isn't doable for your shoulder, obviously adjust how you need to. Breathe into that side. Let it feel really good to expand the ribs with your breath there. Good. One more breath. And now we're going to do the same thing. Turn back to the wall. Look down. Step back from the wall a little bit. Bring yourself up into that wide V with your fingertips on the wall. And then slide your hands down and step back into a plank, if possible. If you know that your wrists don't do plank, try fists. You know, you can come to fists, do a wall plank here. And again, if you can bend your elbows and do a couple little push-ups here at the wall, let yourself move into some push-ups like you're holding a beach ball between your elbows and it stays there. Now try to even out your push-ups, so coming into the wall slowly, make sure you don't just push back out real fast, but you try to maintain being very even in these. See if you can do 2 or 3 more. If you've stopped, that's fine. Stay in plank if you can, or move to what you need to do. Good. And then finish off the one you're on. Turn your back to the wall and bring your right arm up overhead if you can. Bend your elbow. Now, everybody's different. If you want to bring your left arm up on top and hold both elbows there, fine. If you're having issues in your shoulders and you know that doesn't work for you, don't do it. Kind of just stretch the right arm out. Don't worry about the left arm coming up to hold the elbow, right? Good, and then release both arms down. And then try to let the left arm come up. And again, bend the elbow. And again, we're all different. You don't have to force it. If you feel like you have to bring the elbow out or forward, you know, be mindful. If you like the right arm to come up and over the top, and hold on to that left elbow, do. So you're releasing your triceps after those push-ups. Good. And then release both arms on down beside you. Walk your feet out just a little ways. And bend your knees a little bit. Come into a chair at the wall. So keep your body towards the wall here at first. And maybe you just want to bend your knees a little bit and release back into the wall, turning your palms forward, letting yourself enjoy here. If you want to go deeper, go deeper. Right? You just don't want your knees to go out beyond your toes. So if you want to bend your knees deeper, you're going to need to walk farther out and then bend your knees and make sure that you're safely aligned there with your knees. If you can feel the backs of your hands pressing into the wall a little bit, might feel pretty good. And then when you're ready, or if you're okay to actually, come forward a little bit with your hands above your knees, maybe your forearms above your knees. Let it feel like a relief, and if it doesn't, don't do it. I know some of you like to fold over your legs. If you like to do that, go for it. Good. One more breath here. Now be mindful when you rise up. Knees are bent. Come on back to the wall. Of course, walk your feet on back. And we are going to go right down onto our bellies from here. So that'll be easy. Let yourself just come on down. Feet back towards the wall behind you. And let your hands make a little pillow. Rest your forehead on your hands. And once you're set with that, bend your knees and let yourself play with your feet back there, circling or flexing and pointing, or if you like the windshield wiper blades, you can let your lower legs come a little side to side. Good. And then let your legs come back long. Go ahead and let the feet point so you're on the tops of your toes. And release your arms on down alongside your body. And turn your palms down towards the floor. Right? They're out a little bit from you, not in on your mat, but out from your mat a little bit. And then on your next inhale, just let your head float up. So telling, it tells you so much how heavy our heads are. To just float your head up seems like it shouldn't be that hard, right? But then lower your head on back down. And now let's add lifting the head, the chest, and the hands up a little bit. Inhaling the upper part of the body. And then lower back down. It doesn't need to be high. One more time. Inhaling the head, the chest, the hands. Use your belly. Don't go too high. And then back down. And let's try just the legs. Inhaling just your legs up. And then exhaling them back down. And then one more time. Inhaling just the legs up. And then let them come back down. Now this makes full locust easy, right? Because when you get to inhale everything up, it's easier. Inhale everything up into your locust. Little shallow breaths. Reach back towards the wall behind you. Good. And now come down with your head onto your right forearm. Let your head rest on your forearm. Bend your left knee. Flex through the foot. And feel like you're just using your muscles your leg to try to draw the heel in towards your buttocks. And then see if you can just float your head a little bit up off your arm there. And there is a half bow. You don't have to go any deeper. You can even put your head back down if you're like, I'm not even doing that. Or you can reach your left hand back and get hold of the top of the left foot, pressing the foot gently into the hand. Now, if you want more of a back bend on this pose, you can slide your forearm, the right forearm, down towards your waist and lift yourself up there. But it's totally not necessary, right? Staying low, even putting your head back down. And if you want more in your quad, you can put your head back down and pull your heel in more towards your buttocks a little bit. We are going to switch legs, so let that one come down. Just switch arms, put your head on your left forearm, bend your right knee, flex the foot. Pull the heel in towards your buttocks. There's your quad working there. Now if you want to lift your head up a little bit, that might be enough right there. That is a little back bend. I mean, you can really let yourself just stay there You can reach back if you want to get hold of the foot, right hand holding the right foot. If you want to go higher up in the back bend, you can slide your arm, again, more towards your waist, or you can keep your head down. Don't worry even about getting the foot. And then again, if you want more in your quad there, if you put your head back down and you have your foot, you can just try if you want to draw it a little more in. Be really careful with that though. And then we'll release and let our leg come long again. And we're going to shift back towards pose of a child from here. So, only you know how far you can go in child's pose. You do not have to even shift your hips back. They can be way up, hips can be above your knees if you want. You can be on your forearms forward, right? It really depends on you and bending your knees, how deeply when you come back with your hips. You'll know when you need to stop. Just be mindful, feel that nice release in your back, your hips, whether you're all the way back or you're still up. You can still breathe into your low back. Releasing into those full deep breaths. Good. And one more breath. And now we're going to rise up to sitting. So how you get up, hands by the knees usually, and swinging your legs around is a good way, but you do what feels good. Stretch your legs on out in front of you, and let your feet circle around. Do little wiper blades with your feet too. I mean, I like to do them this way when I'm sitting. You can do side to side that way too. Just play a little bit. Let your legs start to get really released if you can. Good. And then let's do a little twist. Let's keep our right foot forward. Cross our left foot over either to the outside, either below or above your knee. If being on the outside of that leg doesn't work for you, put the foot on the inside of the leg. It's fine. So sometimes just shifting the right foot more to the midline and then bringing the foot across works. Sit up nice and tall. Really let yourself lengthen up. Take a nice inhale. And on the exhale, we'll twist to our left. So bring yourself around. Think of your right rib cage coming over towards that left inner thigh. Even if it's down low, right? You're still thinking of drawing the right ribs around more. And left fingertips just lightly touch the floor. Whether you look to the side, look farther behind yourself, bring your arm across to the outside of your leg, or, just be mindful. Let it feel really good to find that twist. Good. One more inhale. And as we exhale, we're going to actually twist all the way around into the other direction in this twist. So now your left arm tries to come kind of to the inside of that left knee, or, as far around as you can easily. Good. Let yourself lengthen up. Very nice. Feel the sitting bones drawing down. Feel the belly drawing in a little bit. Good. One more breath. And then use your belly to come on back. And we're going to switch legs. So again, if it's too much to bring the foot to the outside, sometimes lower is better so your knee's not so bent. Sometimes it's better to keep it on the inside. So you got to kind of adjust and feel your sit bones drawing down as you lengthen up. And as you exhale, we're going to twist to our right. So again, it's these left ribs that you think, imagine them drawing around towards that right inner thigh. Let yourself just feel a little support with that back hand, but try not to lean back into it if you can help it. And just lengthen up. Enjoy feeling that sense of space in your spine. Good. One more inhale. And on the exhale, we're going to come back around and go to the other side. So just let yourself release. You could have stayed there because we were doing both sides. So just let yourself enjoy. So when you twist away from the bent leg, it's a very different feeling, huh, than when you twist towards it. Still feel that lift of the pelvic floor a little bit. Feel that sense of space in your spine and a little twist there in the middle of your back. One more inhale. And on the exhale, come on back around. Stretch your legs on out in front of you. Shake out a little bit. Now this next one, I just really want to do this today. If you know that lying back on blocks, it's like I'm going to turn sideways so you can see. It's kind of like a supported fish pose, all right? So you can have your two blocks. The block that goes under your shoulder blades is kind of turned sideways so that it's not digging into your spine. It's turned sideways so that it comes kind of right below your shoulder blades, maybe across the middle, and that depends on you. And the other block under your head can be the same height as the one under your chest, if that feels okay. Or maybe you'll find it feels better to make that block come up higher. You know, and some of you, you've got to just really be mindful of your back. If it feels uncomfortable and you don't like this, don't do it, right? You can try it. You can have your knees bent. You can stretch your legs long if you want to. You can even bring the soles of the feet towards each other and let your knees open out into a little Badakanasana. But it is a supported back bend. You don't want it to bring any kind of stressful feeling, however, into your low back. So oftentimes, bringing the soles of the feet together and opening the knees out for Badakanasana releases in a very different way for your low back. So Helen, bring your block more under your shoulder blades. Do you mind if I come over? So this comes low. Now like that. Even more. See, it needs to be low. There. You're going to let that put your hand on this one. Is that better? Donna, yours might be up a little high too. You want it either across your shoulder blades or even almost like you can tuck. Is this hard? You don't need that. You don't have this yet. Okay. Pretty good. You can maybe have it a little bit lower. But that's up to you. And I like that you have your head up higher. So you can put your head up higher on that block. You can, if that feels better for you, you can put your head up to the highest height of the block. Good. So anybody else, wave at me if you're like, this is like the most uncomfortable thing in the world. Don't do it if it is. If it hurts you at all, don't do it. You can just for a minute or so sometimes though. Yeah, is that better than having high legs? Yeah, I think you look better. Yeah. I mean, it looks better alignment. Yeah. You'll probably never feel exactly comfortable. Well, what it does is it allows your chest to open. It's a supported, yoga pose. It's not something you're trying to work in and use muscles. Instead, it's a great way, actually, to feel your three-part breaths. Inhaling into your belly, and then your ribs, and then up into your chest. Great way to feel these three-part breaths, because you're just open in the front of your body. Good. Take your time. If you're like, I've had entirely enough of this, you can come out of it, and to do that, you've got to either kind of roll a little bit to your side to remove the blocks, and then lie down on your back. If you want to stay a little bit longer, do. But if you're ready to come down, make sure once you get the blocks out from under you that you lie on your back, let your knees be bent, and see how you feel. Because not only does it affect the back of your body, it affects the front of your body. Both, right? And if you need to bring your knees on in towards your chest, by all means do. Starting to get lights, but I would also start to come around. So once you've done that, and if you feel like you can bring your knees all the way into your chest, if you let the back really release through. Maybe even a happy baby, some of you might want to do, or you might want to open your hips with a figure 4, or letting yourself do a Badakanasana now that your knees are in, opening your knees to the side. Be mindful, there may be something else you might want to twist. You might want to let your knees from side to side. You might want to do a bridge pose. There are any number of things that your body might kind of automatically want to do. Take your time. Those of you who want to settle in for Shavasana, bolster, just start to wave at me, and I'm going to start to bring around the stuff. Bolsters, or if you have blankets, something to give you support. If your back feels iffy, putting a little something under your knees can be very helpful. Maybe even a little bit of a blanket behind your head. So at the studio, wave at me if I missed anybody. And then just be with your breath. Let yourself accept your breaths easily in and out through your nose. And just let that gentle wave of your breath help you find those quieter places. Giving yourself these few minutes. Trusting that your body is going to get what it needs from all you just did. It's by letting yourself completely and fully relax. accept your breaths in and out a little more fully and deeply again. Enjoy feeling that actual physical movement as you breathe in and out. And feel yourself there on the ground again, with the firmness of the floor supporting you. And as you start to come back into wanting to move, let your fingers and your toes, your hands, your feet lead you into moving. And take your time. You can stretch, you can bend. You are welcome to roll to either your right or your left side if that's comfortable for you and you want to stay for a few breaths in that soft fetal position on your side. Just be mindful. Let yourself enjoy starting to be physical again. And when you feel like you are okay to rise up, just imagine you're floating your way up. If you can stay very relaxed. I mean, once you start to sit comfortably and your spine kind of takes over, you can let yourself feel that great length upward through the top of your head again and enjoy having your head up above your heart again. Come back once you're seated comfortably to watching your breaths in and out. And on your next exhale, allow your hands to gently come to meet in front of your chest. And wishing each one of you a very joyful day. Namaste.
Namaste.
Happy Monday. And May just keeps on going.
So,
May just keeps on going.